Alert to tell you about now because we are awaiting formal charges for that suspect in the quadruple murder of a D.C. family and the housekeeper. Darren Dylan Wint, pictured here, expected to enter the D.C. Superior Court about an hour from now. Judge expected to charge him with 4 counts of first-degree murder after he allegedly held 3 family members of a former employer as well as their housekeeper hostage, apparently for money, bludgeoning them before killing them and setting their house on fire to try and cover his tracks. Police figured out Wint was their guy from DNA on pizza crust left at the scene. And after a week of searching, U.S. Marshals caught up with him last night in Northeast Washington, just miles from the scene of the crime. Leland Bittert, live outside the D.C. Superior Court. So, when will he be in court, Leland?
Gretchen, could be any moment now. He is here in the courthouse, but as arraignments go, they've got to work their way through everybody that was arrested yesterday and get down to Mr. Wint, who does have a public defender, we are told, to answer for those charges, 4 counts of first-degree murder. He had made his way all the way to New York, officials believe, in the past couple of days since the murder, came back down to D.C., and that's when U.S. Marshals moved in to arrest him with what they call overwhelming force and numbers.
We followed them for about 4 or 5 miles, and they did a wacky U-turn. We thought maybe they thought they were being tailed. We got to a situation where we could successfully take them down, and we did our standard practiced vehicle pin maneuver.
Now, this is the family who was killed along with their housekeeper. According to officials, they were held for about 24 hours, and during that time, 2 things happened. One, the pizza was ordered from Domino's, and that's where Mr. Wint's DNA eventually ended up on. Number 2, there was $40,000 delivered to the home by a personal assistant to the family. That cash was missing, and we are told yesterday when he was arrested that there was a lot of cash found in one of the vehicles he was traveling in, Gretchen.
Okay, so when he was arrested, there were a bunch of other people with him in that car. What has happened to them?
Exactly. Stunning that there was 5 or 6 other people in these 2 cars that the U.S. Marshals pulled over, one of them being a box truck. We are told that all of them have been released. Unclear if there was any outstanding warrants for either one of them or anything like that, but they've been released so far. Wint is the only one charged in that crime, which is interesting because so many experts tell us it would have been very difficult for him to be able to pull off this crime for 24 hours inside that house without any type of help or accomplices. Obviously, we'll see if the police over the next couple of days bring out any more information on new suspects, Gretchen.
All right, Leland Bittert, thank you so much. And as we mentioned earlier, U.S. Marshals were called in to catch Wint. 34-year-old ex-con, also allegedly cut from Marine boot camp before graduation. The Marshals tracked him thanks to that pizza crust, as well as interviews with his girlfriend, surveillance, and database searches to track him to that Howard Johnson motel in Northeast D.C. Here's what the Marshals Service had to say about the takedown last night.
County Police, and they put up a helicopter for us, and once we got to a good location, we were able to pin the vehicle in and extract him safely. Nobody got hurt, nobody got injured, and there was multiple people were taken into custody.
Let's bring in our crime and law experts today. David Schwartz, defense attorney, Scott Bond, criminologist and author of Why We Love Serial Killers. That's quite a title. So let me start with you, David, from a legal point of view. What's going to happen when he goes into the court today?
Well, he's going to get arraigned in court. He's going to be charged with the 4 counts of murder. I'm sure the judge will set no bail whatsoever. He'll be remanded, and then the proceedings will start going from there. There's going to be an indictment in the case, I suspect, in short order. And while that's all happening, though, the police will be building their case for months and months to come.
Well, part of the problem is that he set the house on fire after he allegedly killed these 4 people, so that could make getting some of the evidence difficult. But he screwed up with that pizza crust. He was dumb about ordering the pizza. I need to know from you, Scott, what do you think the motive was?
Okay. First of all, I don't think that this is a professional criminal. I think what we have here is a very violent man, an unstable man, has a history of violence and instability, and I think that the motivation was really rage. Apparently, he worked for the victim in his ironworks company, and I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that he was let go under circumstances, perhaps fired.
Probably.
And I think that this may well be a crime of retribution.
But why would it take so long to carry out this crime, David? Because he apparently went to the house the night before and bound them,
Right.
and then probably didn't kill them. Was he waiting for the money?
I think he was first looking for the money. I do believe there were other people in the house. I don't think it was a solo crime here. Certainly, we have to find out the money was delivered to the house by another employee of the company, how that all worked out. So certainly, he was probably holding them hostage, I suspect, and then something went horribly wrong, and the rest is history.
It's bizarre, is it not? Because he did get the money.
That's right.
So what else? I mean, we don't know what could have gone wrong, but what are your thoughts?
Again, we're dealing with an unstable individual here. Let's say that extortion was the primary goal, to get the money. An extortionist, a professional extortionist, does not blow up the house, torture, kill, blow up the car as he's being chased by police in another state. That just doesn't happen. So you're dealing with a guy here. I'm not even sure that perhaps murder might not have been the motive going in. Again, I think that this is an unstable individual who had retribution on his mind, a man who felt powerless in his own life, and he says, I'm going to show you. I'm taking control in this situation. I'm going to hold you. I'm going to torture. I'm going to mutilate and ultimately kill and blow up your house. I mean, that is an unstable individual.
He is now in police control, and we're going to see what happens in court. David and Scott, thank you.
Thank you.
Growing frustration on Capitol